You know that quiet little ache? That whisper in the back of your mind that says, you should be further along by now. If you've ever felt that, well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to reframe that entire feeling. We're going to see it not as a failure, but as something way more profound. A complete and total rebuild from the inside out. And believe it or not, it all starts with a very, very strange instruction. So stick with me here. It starts with this. A really technical instruction from a protocol for an AI video system. It's basically a command giving to a machine, telling it to take something that already exists and just replace every single frame. Keep the story, keep the timing, but make it all look brand new. It sounds so cold and technical, right? Almost bizarre. But here's the thing. What if this isn't just about AI and videos? What if, when you're really struggling, when you're feeling stuck or numb or so far behind, your brain is running that exact same protocol on your life? What if you're not falling apart? What if you're in the middle of a total rename? And that brings us to our first big idea, your brain's survival edit. The core concept here is that what feels like a breakdown is often a really strategic protective measure. It's not a bug in your system, it's a feature. To really get this, we can look at the work of neuroscientist Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett. She reminds us of this absolutely crucial biological fact. Our brain's #1 job isn't to make us happy or successful. It's not to get a promotion or get more likes online. Its main priority, the thing it's been perfecting for millions of years, is just to keep you alive. Everything, and I mean everything else, comes second. And this right here shows the conflict we all feel. On one side, you've got society's script, right? The timeline of all the things we're supposed to be doing. But when you're going through it, your brain totally switches to its own script. It could not care less about the degree or the engagement post. All it cares about is breathing, healing, and protecting you. It's a massive shift in priorities. And this protective shift, it has a name for one of its most common side effects: anhedonia. That's the feeling when things you used to love, your hobbies, food, seeing friends, just feel flat. It's not that you're broken. It's your brain hitting the emergency brake. It's going into power-saving mode so it can redirect all of its energy toward keeping you safe and helping you heal. And this is exactly how people describe it. This feeling of being disconnected, like you're just a spectator in your own life. It's so disorienting, and it can feel incredibly lonely. But just understanding that it's a biological protection plan, not a personal failing, that's the first real step toward finding your way back. Now, this feeling gets so much worse when we fall into this really common trap. The trap of watching someone else's movie and wondering why ours feels so off. You know, psychologists have a name for this. It's called temporal self-comparison. It's just a fancy way of describing that painful habit of scrolling through someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel, all their amazing trips, promotions, and perfect moments, and then using that as a measuring stick for our own messy, behind-the-scenes reality. And this chart just visualizes that gap perfectly. We see their progress as this smooth, perfect climb to the top. Meanwhile, we feel our own progress is slow or stuck or full of setbacks. We're comparing their final cut to our raw, unedited footage, and that's a comparison you are never, ever gonna win. But this is more than just feeling bad for a minute. It actually creates this vicious feedback loop. The research is clear. This kind of comparison actively works against you. It dials up the shame and, ironically, it just drains away the very motivation you need to keep going on your own healing journey. I mean, this quote just reframes everything so powerfully, doesn't it? You would never, ever scream at a broken bone to heal faster. You'd give it rest and support and time. Your mind, when it's healing, deserves that exact same patience, that exact same compassion. Okay, so where do we go from here? How do we move forward? Well, this brings us to the most hopeful part of this whole thing, rewriting your script. It's about taking small, deliberate actions to start production on your new story at your own pace. The psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Dr. Viktor Frankl gave us this incredible insight. He said that when you're in the absolute depths of it, you don't need some grand 5-year plan. You just need a why. And sometimes that why is as simple as, I want to see what tomorrow brings. That tiny little anchor is enough to help you endure almost anyhow. And this is how you start. The key here is that these steps are small. They don't rely on having a ton of motivation, because you might not have it right now. So you start with micro pleasures, a warm cup of tea, 5 minutes of sunlight, a short walk. Tiny things. You lean on routine, not motivation, because sometimes action has to come before the feeling comes back. You introduce tiny bits of novelty, a new path on your walk, a different kind of music, just to wake up your brain. And so importantly, you protect your energy. You practice rest. You set boundaries. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. And all of this leads us to our final section, where we bring this whole metaphor home. The final cut is you. And every single difficult, painful, or seemingly stuck moment, that was never, ever wasted footage. Just think about it. All those days, those weeks, maybe even years where you felt like you were just treading water, making zero progress, just falling further and further behind. That wasn't lost time, not at all. That was the slow, invisible, and absolutely essential work of building a new, stronger foundation for the person you were in the process of becoming. Because surviving the things that nobody else can see, that forges qualities inside you that become your greatest strengths. That quiet battle teaches you a depth of compassion, a profound patience, and a resilience that you could not have learned any other way. These are your superpowers. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. If your only accomplishment some days was just surviving your own thoughts, you weren't failing. If you had to start over, you weren't late. You were never behind. You were just becoming. So, I'll leave you with this question. Knowing that all of this, the struggle, the healing, the rebuilding, is actually part of your script, what will your final cut look like? I can tell you this. The version of you waiting on the other side of this is patient. They understand, and they're going to be absolutely incredible.